How's it going, everyone? I'm Sir James, coming at you guys with another custom lightsaber review. This time we are going to be taking a look at the Kanan Jarrus Lightsaber made by TXQ. This saber was acquired through CCSabers, which I'll have a link to this in the video description down below. And in the description you will also find access to my discount code, so if there's anything on his website that you desire and would like to save a little bit of money, feel free to use that discount code if you like. Now, I do apologize that this review is coming out a day later than I had originally promised. I was overly excited for the release of Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings theme set. That was the only thing on my mind. But now that I had the chance to enjoy that all day, here we are. So yeah, the Kanan Jarrus Lightsaber. I believe this is probably my second time looking at a variation of this. The first time around was the one by Ultimate Works. Now we have TXQ, and I have to say, TXQ has definitely been stepping up their game. Definitely looks very, very well done indeed. So let me go ahead and give you guys a closer look at the hilts before we dive into any more details. So here is the hilt in question from a distance. Let me go just kind of give you guys a quick little pan around here. Kanan's lightsaber is definitely one of my favorites. Now on the control box, if I flip this around, you will see the little arrows located right here. And there you go. And this is a 2-button setup. So you got your upper button and then your lower. This blade plug was included with the product. This also has 3 retention screw rings for the blade. You have one right here in the middle and one on each side. Do you really need that many retention screws? To be quite honest, no, but there's plenty for sure. So overall, it definitely looks great. As far as the feeling of the hilt, it definitely has that nice solid, hefty build to it. It doesn't feel cheap at all. It feels like a premium product, if you will. Now, obviously, the important question that a lot of you probably have on your mind right now is, does the top do the thing like in the show? Where he kid, I'm about to let everyone know kid, I'm about to let everyone in on the secret, where he takes the 2 parts and connects them. Yes and no. It's not in the way that you're hoping for it to be like. In fact, I don't know of any company that does one, except for, I think, Vader's Vault. But that one's like $1,400, while this one is under $500, so there's a huge price difference, especially if it's just one little feature that you're wanting. And this is the Profi variation, by the way. Now, when you get this out of the box, technically this big old ring section that's attached, it came separately. So what you had to do was you had to unattach this entire top section anyways to attach that ring, and then tighten all the parts back together, and then you're good to go. As far as the main function of the hilt, the top part doesn't quickly detach or reattach like in the show, which is a little bit unfortunate, but honestly, for the price, can't really complain too much, especially for a feature that wasn't often used as much in the show. As far as getting access to your Profi board, you're going to go ahead and unscrew this pommel section right here. Now, the nice thing about this is that the Profi board is 100% removable. It's got a removable chassis. So when you open this up, you're going to be presented like this. You got a little pull tab here. And then here is your Profi board. You are able to lift the board a little bit if you need to plug in your cable. And if you need to get access to the SD card, the simplest way is, of course, by removing the battery in the back. And you can charge this through the USB-C located here on the bottom, or you can go ahead and plug in the battery to one of those chargers as well. So you have plenty of options to work with. And to assemble it, you just basically align the pieces back up, plug it right in, and go ahead and screw back in the pommel. It's a very simple, easy to use. Again, as far as assembly, all you need to do is to not only attach the blade retention screws, but the ring on this, and that's pretty much it as far as the assembly process out of the box when you first receive it. So let's go ahead and bring over a blade, because I know you guys want to see this in action. Now, I didn't toss like a lot of Saber fonts on here. I kept it very simple. All I did was I tossed in some fonts related to, well, Star Wars Rebels, just to keep this review a little bit more on point. Some people like themes, some people may not. It's kind of up to you, really. Alright, now I will also point out that the actual blade depth is quite a lot. Let me go ahead and just kind of slide this blade in and kind of show you what I mean. So if you look here where my thumb is, this is basically the top of the hilt. All of this sits right inside the blade, so it's very deep inside in there. So like I said, I felt like the additional 3 screws to tighten the blade was a bit overkill in my opinion. But if you really want that extra security, you could tighten all 3 screws if you want. I'm just going to leave the 2 unchanged. So let me go ahead and turn off a couple of these additional lights here and cycle through.
He's been working. I wondered when you would return.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get to the Kanan Jarrus.
I am Kanan Jarrus, Jedi Knight.
Now, when this is on, you do get your lighting effects as far as those go. And one thing to also point out, I was going to see if I could adjust it, but I wanted you guys to see it too.
Kid, I'm about to let everyone in on the secret.
1 second.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Is you do have a bit of a light that kind of bleeds through from the bright LEDs in here. Now this piece is technically removable, so if you wanted to color in or put tape on the underside of this to block that lighting from seeping through, that is an option that you can do with this if you desired. I decided not to do anything with it so I could show you guys what I was talking about. So let's go ahead and activate this. Any of the fonts that I showcased in today's video were obtained through Kyberphonic, for those of you curious.
Kid, I'm about to let everyone in on the secret.
Now that is simply just a pre-on effect that was enabled by default. You don't have to have that if you don't like it. Now as far as how does the saber feel in terms of in the hands while swinging this, it definitely feels great. Now I thought I was going to be concerned with the control box located right here, just about at the center or so, but honestly just having my hand gripped towards the top where the ring section is and my other hand just below the control box definitely has a very good feeling, because we've seen Kanan Jarrus typically do a lot of two-handed movements with the saber, but if you needed to do one-handed, again having your hand up high basically offers no hindrance as far as movement goes, and you don't have to worry about hitting that control box, which is great.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Now, because there is a pre-on effect on here, I do have also adjuster controls enabled, like the twist on, which will bypass that. So you don't have to get that audio.
The Force will be with you. Always.
Next up.
He's been working on that thing for weeks. What kind of lightsaber could he possibly build with the junk we have laying around?
Now, technically, this one is also supposed to be a blue lightsaber blade for Ezra's first lightsaber, but I couldn't find the saber font for it. So for this particular color, I decided to go with green, because I feel like green kind of matches this one pretty well. Just the sound of it, I kind of feel like has more of a green tone. And of course, can't get enough of that font because it sounds great. Now to change the saber fonts, I am just selecting the down arrow key if you're curious. And for the blade color color I chose on this one, I decided to go with the silver tone instead of the official white, just because the silver one just looks a little bit better in my opinion. Let's see. And of course, can't have Saber fonts without.
I wondered when you would return.
And this one, instead of the yellow blade, I decided to go with the gold variation, so it's a little bit more of a deeper yellow. It looks a little bit weird on camera, but if you kind of look through here, you get more of that gold-ish color. And as far as the blade effects that I've chosen, I decided to go with more of a, it was more static with a slight unstable at like 25 or 50%. But that is it for the blade effect.
I am Kanan Jarrus, Jedi Knight.
And back to you, Kanan Jarrus. But yeah, overall, the Saber, in my opinion, looks great. I mean, for something that is, again, before tax and everything is added, for under $500, it's a pretty nice looking Kanan Jarrus lightsaber. I like the fact that as far as having the Profi option, that the board is 100% removable, making it very easy to access the board whenever it needs to be accessed, being able to change the batteries a lot quickly, just having to remove the little pommel piece just, you know, makes everything so much better. Other than that, you know, again, it's got a nice deep blade pocket in there, so you don't have to worry about the blade getting messed up. In fact, if you didn't get a Profi, maybe you just got like a regular LED option, and if you're looking for maybe a potential, you know, lightsaber you could use for dueling, might be a considerable option, because you don't have a lot of weird loose parts that would potentially affect anything, and with the deep blade socket, it should work out relatively better. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. What do you guys think about the Kanan Jarrus Lightsaber by TXQ? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. Like I said, if you're interested in this one or anything that CCSabers tends to offer, I do have a discount code available in the video description as well. And always remember, may the Force be with you, and you guys have a wonderful weekend.